Hello, all. How are you? How's everyone tonight?
Hello,
Hey,
everybody.
Megan. There we go. All right, who do we got tonight? Hey, Craig and Donna, Tom and Mary Joan. Heather, is today the day you'll learn the last tidbit that will convince my husband to move tomorrow? You're going to move tomorrow. Great, Heather. We hope so. Hey, Joel. St. Augustine. Ooh, Brian, how are you? Ruth and Harvey. Great to see you. Looking forward to seeing you back here. Hey, Raymond. Mike and Barb, how are you, folks? Hey, guys. For those of you just watching and you haven't typed your name in the right-hand side, we just type your name and then tell us where you're from. We don't need your email. We don't need your phone. Just your first name is fine. Mm-hmm. All right, folks. Are you ready for tonight? I couldn't believe 7 o'clock came so fast. I wasn't quite ready. Oop.
I'm also
Okay.
trying to get into the Q&A part, but I don't see it on the admin.
Q&A. Start Q&A. There we go. For those of you who want to ask questions tonight, if you notice on the right-hand side on a computer, we have both chat and Q&A. Please switch to the Q&A before you enter your question. For those of you on a phone, just swipe up from the bottom. You'll see chat and Q&A. Enter all your questions in the Q&A. Welcome to YouTube and Facebook people following you. You can also, you'll see a chat box on YouTube. You'll see a unique different chat box on the right that you can type your questions right in there. And they'll come up in our Q&A section. On Facebook, you just put them in your comments.
Perfect.
Hey, Brian, right on. Yes, you're on the September 3rd tour and you got your flights booked. Exciting. Okay, we're going to start at any time. You can type your questions in the Q&A, please. And anything else goes in the chat. So type your questions in the Q&A. We are going to talk about, we've renamed May. May starts tomorrow. May is going to be our special Q&A month. I'm going to bring you up the schedule of that shortly. And for right now, for May Silver, for these people that we don't know, we're going to give you a brief 3-minute intro to who we are. Go ahead, Megan, you start.
All righty. So Rod's got us up on the screen there. If there's any newbies here, we're Retire in Panama Tours, and we offer 7-day and 3-day relocation tours in Panama based on what you're looking for. 7 days cross country. Sorry, my dog's drinking water so loud right now. Speaking of, we have a veterinary question in the chat. So the 3-day is more Cherokee Highlands, cooler areas. 7 days all across the country. We hit all of the spots that are the most popular for expats. Obviously, there's much more, but we hit the main ones that hit a lot, check a lot of the boxes for most people. So I'm Megan. I'm operations director. If you come on tour with us, I'll make sure that you're ready for your tour, that we have everything we need from you. I'll help you with any before or after stay plans. We're always happy to make recommendations and make connections for people that either want to extend their vacation or even start residency while they're here or start looking for rentals while they're here and all that sort of stuff. So, a little bit about me. I'm from Pennsylvania originally, went to Penn State, and then ended up in the Peace Corps here in Panama and fell in love with the country and met my husband here. Oscar, he's usually on the calls, but he's actually on his way out to do a tour. So he's not here tonight. But we live in Boquete, which is a little mountain town that's pretty popular here in Panama, close to the Costa Rica border. And we absolutely love it here. Take it away, Rod.
Oh, okay. Sorry. My name is Rod Larrabee. I'm from Vancouver, Canada, and I moved here 14 and a half years ago. Never really looked back. I always start this by telling you a little bit about my journey. I moved here not knowing anybody, and basically one of those people who packed a couple bags, sold everything at home, bought a one way ticket, and moved to Panama. And within the first 2 months, I was in all kinds of trouble. I had a vehicle not in my name. I had a lawyer wanting a $40,000 retainer, and I didn't know any of that was wrong. It just didn't feel right, and I didn't know after the second month if Panama was going to be for me or not. It was a trial, but the guy in the bottom, oh, there he is, bottom left of the screen there, that is Oscar Pena. And I met him when in Boquete about 3 months after I moved here. And he is now married to Megan. And he helped me. He was already, this is 14 and a half years ago, he was already helping expats move to Panama. And he solved all my problems, which is great. And got me hooked up with all the right people. And him and I became business partners pretty quick. And we started helping expats move one at a time or helping them with their challenges when they arrived here, like I did. We had a little office in town. People would walk into their office and tell us stories that I gave $40,000 to a lawyer for a teak farm and I can't get a hold of him now. Or I got stopped by the police and my car was towed away. What, can you help me there because I didn't have a driver's license? And just one thing after another. And, we enjoyed what we do. We enjoy helping people, but we decided after a few years of that, we wanted to start a company that taught people how to do it right from the beginning. And that's when we started Retire in Panama Tours back in 2018. And Megan joined us shortly after in 2019. We started our first tour. So that is who we are, and we host these Q&As every single night. Little tip for you guys here too, that
Every Thursday. Rod, you said
I
every
actually
night.
said Friday, didn't I? Why would
No,
I
you
would
said
never do
every,
that Friday night?
I thought you said every single night.
Oh, every single night. Maybe I did. I was trying to look at something else here. And for the now, a bunch more of you join. Um, on the right, click on Q&A and type your questions in there. We're going to start answering questions very shortly. Okay. And May, we are launching our Q&A list. Now I got to put my screen share up again. So this week is just going to be a general Q&A. Okay. Which means we're just going to take a question on everything to do with moving to Panama. Next week, we got a very special healthcare Q&A where we're going to have the North American Client Acquisition Director, Michael Kelly, on our call. He is with um, I keep wanting to call it Punta Pacifica. He's with Pacific Salud
Pacifica Salud.
Hospital, which is the largest in the country, the only John Hopkins affiliated hospital in Central America. And he's going to talk to you about hospital facilities and insurance, using your insurance in a hospital, and veterans, the Pacific Salute does a lot of work with Veterans Affairs and FMP and TRICARE and stuff like that. Then the week after, we're going to have a complete Q&A just about all the expat destinations within Panama and what is the best location for you. Then on the 21st, we're doing a Q&A on pet relocation from USA to Panama, exactly how to do it step by step. And on the 28th, we're talking about buying a car and getting your driver's license in Panama. A lot of people think they can figure this stuff online, they can get all the information, or hey, we don't need help from anyone. We can just use Chat GPT, right? I heard that. I've heard that so many times. Um, I don't advise it. Now, I like to show people why I don't advise it, but let me quickly go here. Now, I should have put the question in here. I typed a direct question. When do you need to get a driver's license in Panama? Let's look at what ChatGPT tells me. As a resident of Panama, you must obtain a Panama driver's license with 90 days of receiving your residency visa, or your foreign driver's license is only valid for the initial 90-day period. You must have your Panamanian cedula. This is, by the way, I'm going to stop reading because this is all wrong. It's 100% wrong. And you're going to learn the truth on the 28th. So don't trust AI, guys. It doesn't. All AI does, and I try to explain this to people who tell me I read this on with an AI, and people email us and phone us every day, and it tells me I have to do this. AI just gathers all the information it can find on your topic on the internet and comes up with what it thinks it's right, because there's so much wrong information up there. It doesn't always know. Ever notice the disclaimer at the bottom? AI makes mistakes. Yes, it does. We've helped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people get their driver's license. We don't make mistakes on stuff like that. So, anyhow, so those are the Q&As coming up. Did I stop the screen share? Yes, I did. So, I'm going to put this into the chat. If you want a list of our Q&As or even add it to your calendar, you don't have to share your email, nothing with us. Just click on that link I just put in there and then click on follow calendar, and they will add it to your Google, Apple, whatever calendar you use. It'll put our Q&As with the join link right in your calendar and give you a reminder about it. Okay, cool. All right, guys. Hey, Greg and Donna, how are you? Hi, Kirsten. Melissa, you're coming, yeah. And Greg and Donna. Oh, you guys are in May, right on. Okay, we're ready for some questions, Megan. Okay. I have lately become an expert in this with multiple surgeries in my dogs, from little puppies to I buried one of my dogs 2 weeks ago. And the care is just amazing. Like I can't even compare it to a cost of what I used to pay for my dogs in Canada. It's crazy. For example, one of my dogs 2 years ago had a hernia, pretty bad one too. Just this whole thing fell out of its side, and I'm just panicking. And I didn't know what it was, and I didn't know how to identify a. I've never seen a hernia on a person that close. I get over to the doctor's office. Oh yeah, your dog has a hernia. This has to come out. It should come out. We should be doing surgery this afternoon. And I use a wife husband team. The husband came down, and him and his wife did the surgery. Kept my Dutchie overnight. I came the next day, and I went to pay the bill. And for the surgery, anesthesia, the overnight, and enough medicine for the next 30 days, including the painkillers, the cream, the patches, all that stuff, was $160. Yeah. Um, and that same dog, I had Dutchie for many, many years, 11 years, and she developed cancer this October, and They right in the office here in Boquete. They have an ultrasound machine, so a vet visit with an ultrasound and full checkup is $50. And she was going through, and then I saw a cancer oncologist in David, and her complete assessment, which was almost an hour, was $65. But for the 3 months after that, they my vet consulted with her every time I had questions. So it was an ongoing thing at no additional charge. And they actually use a pharmacy. You know those pharmacies that make medicine. What are they called, Megan? Compounding pharmacy. They actually have compounding pharmacies here for vets that could prescribe a proper cancer drug. And we tried and we did what had to be done. In the end, it wasn't going to be Dutchie's day. And when I talked to the vet and it was time to put her down, she hadn't eaten in days and it was, she was just on pain meds, so she wasn't really there. Just to have a doctor come over in the afternoon into your home, and it was such a touch. Like they care. My dog's her favorite spot was behind the big chair in her bed, and so the doctor said, "Well, let's just do it there because that's where she was lying." So I moved the chair and I sat on one side. The doctor sat on the other side. Just talked with me, told me everything that was going on as we were petting the dog, and she did her thing, and Dutchie passed, and that was $80. So, any more details on vet care? We can help you out. We know different vets across the country. I had dogs in Panama City, so I know the vets there. I know the good ones, and doggy
Yeah, it's
day.
not like in the States where you need pet insurance or else you'll
Yeah,
be in debt
yeah. There's
quick.
no such thing as pet insurance here. A basic vet is um, $20. Hey Noah, can you wave? People are missing Noah waving.
You want to say hi? Say hi.
Yeah. Mhm.
All right, great. On to the next one. Oh, it's over here. There you go.
Hey Noah.
Say hi, everybody. The next question from Mike and Barb. When applying for a pensionado visa, do you have to go twice? Once to sign and then again when it comes through? Or can you stay as a tourist until it comes through?
Great question.
Um, you, all right.
Can you speak?
Yeah, you can definitely you can stay as soon as you apply. Then, well, as long as your lawyer gets you the multi-entry stamp, which most do, then you can stay throughout the process, no problem, or you can come and go as you please. And they have about 6 months to approve all of your documents and get you your final residency card. That's for pensionado. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike and Barb, as soon as you come here and you apply, within 2 weeks, you're going to have your temporary visa. You're no longer a tourist, and you're going to get your driver's license. Even though Chat GPT says you don't have to, you have to. You'll spend up to $700 fine if you don't. So yeah, so you will have a temporary visa. You can come and go as you please, but as like Megan said, as long as your lawyer and our lawyers will always do this is get you a multiple entry stamp in your visa. I've had other lawyers not do that, and people leave the country and they come back. It's a $2,000 fine. So you want to make sure you got the right lawyer.
Perfect. Next question is from Melissa. If you get an investor visa, can you switch it to pensionado later?
There's really no reason to do that unless you're really, really young, Melissa. And if you're going to be really, really young when you do the um, um, switch, because I assume you're doing it for the discounts. Well, you get the discounts with age, no matter what visa you're on. 55 for a woman, 60 for a man. So you're going to get all the pensionable discounts at that age, no matter what visa you're on. I can't think of another reason you'd want to switch back. So the investor visa has time requirements on how long you got to hold your investment, and I believe it's 5 years. And We don't do a lot of them because friendly nations usually makes more sense to most people because it's a lower investment. It's easy to get a work permit if you want one. So, but yeah, most people
Also, I
don't
think
get visa. It costs money. You got to renounce one. You got to pay to renounce one, and then go through the whole process all over again.
yeah, and it depends because some people refer to investor visas multiple different visas.
Mhm.
So you'd have to look at which one you're looking at. And just talk to a lawyer. They'll be able to point you in the right direction pretty quickly. We're happy to recommend one if you need. Next question. Oh, my computer froze. There we go. Kirsten. Hey, Kirsten. Can you include pets from Canada?
No, we don't allow pets from Canada here. Person, sorry. You know, I'm a Canadian gal, don't you? The actual Q&A is how to move your pets from USA and Canada. We go through all the specific paperwork and agencies involved in both countries. So definitely.
Phyllis, if someone is considering retiring to Panama and knows absolutely no Spanish, how reasonable or unreasonable would that be? I mean, so many people move here without any Spanish. I had a new tutor recommended to me by some expats that live in town, and he has group classes, individual classes, Zoom classes, and I just forwarded his information to some guests they just bought a total access pass and then they're gonna come down and visit, but they want to start studying Spanish beforehand and they want their kids to start studying. So I forwarded on his information to them. And it is ideal if you can get some Spanish, know a little bit, because not everyone's going to speak English here. Even though in a town like Boquete, it is very English friendly, it's nice to at least have some. And it shows that at least you're trying to the locals, and they really appreciate that.
Yeah, like I'll be honest with you, Phyllis. I've said this many, many times. I've been here 14 and a half years. I am not conversational in Spanish. But what I've done is, first thing I did, I learned my numbers. I'm a numbers guy. I want to negotiate. I want, you know, I like I want to know that, and then I learned all my foods, and like I learned, I know several thousand words. I just can't carry on a conversation. Today I went to the fruit and vegetable store. I asked for every single thing I needed in Spanish. I greeted the lady. I asked politely for everything I needed in Spanish, and at the end, she goes to me, $5.65. And I look at her and I said, no entiendo inglés. And she looks at me and then she repeats it in Spanish. Oh, gracias. Cinco, sesenta y uno. Yeah, so yes, you can get by. I know many expats, they move here, they try, exciting. I'm sorry, folks, for those of you that are over 50, it is more difficult to learn a second language when it's older. It's a scientific fact. AI told me, Megan, that it's harder to learn a language when you do get older. It's kind of funny. I come from a French background from Canada. My whole half of my family was French. I failed French in high school, so I've always been language challenged. But I get by just fine. Use Google Maps. If you're looking for something, for example, a hardware store, I'm never going to know the word for screwdriver. Come on. Like, it's not screw and a driver. It's nothing like that. So, I can bring a picture of it. But the key is to walk up to the person, to greet them. Buenos dias. ¿Cómo estás? Necesito ayuda. Tienes, whatever this thing is.
Tornillador.
And I always ask, I say, ¿Cómo se say it? Like, how do I say it? And then try to learn, but and just with a
Yeah,
few
and it
words.
is helpful. A lot of people will do Duolingo or online programs, but it is helpful if you can get a Spanish tutor in the area that you're moving to, because Panamanian Spanish is very different than Spanish from Spain or Mexico or Argentina. So if
Mhm.
you can hear the Spanish, the words and the accent that you're going to hear when you're here, that will be really helpful.
Yeah, I was recently looking to buy a lawnmower and I was looking online. Of course, all the sites are in Spanish. Did you know that in every country in Latin America, lawnmower is a different word? Colombia is different. Costa Rica is different. Panama, they all use different words for lawnmower.
Mm-hmm. I bet.
Yeah, yeah.
That's very common.
And it's not the word lawn and the word mow. It's nothing to do with that.
No.
Well, let's do painting.
You want to do painting?
Yeah.
So put your questions in the chat.
Painting.
Okay, give me
No,
1 minute.
put your questions in the Q&A.
Oh, sorry. Put your questions in the Q&A. I saw we do have a couple questions in the chat. Since we don't have any new ones in the Q&A section,
Okay.
we can pop over to the chat and take a couple. Let's see here. I just saw one asking about how, if at all, are we feeling any effects in Panama from the Middle East conflict?
The price of gas, which is approximately average the same price as the US, about 4.25, maybe a tiny bit more. Where I haven't done the math. Where average $1.20 a liter times 3.8. So yeah, so we're probably around 4.40. So that is it. Flights out of here are more expensive for people that have to come here. It's not hugely bad coming here right now, but if you go into Europe, you're really seeing the big price increases there right now. But that's all we're seeing. We have it's not, and our government does some stuff that's quite interesting. Right now, if you are a taxi driver, a bus driver, deliver goods, fish, farming, any of those people, you are paying pre-war prices for gas. You get a special card and you get a discounted rate. You get a subsidized rate. So no one can raise their price and saying, "Oh, it's because of the cost of fuel." So our food's not going up. Our taxis and buses are not going up because they're all being subsidized by the government. So whatever your political, your affiliation is, doesn't matter. That's the way Panama does things. They don't want to see inflation across the country, so they are subsidizing gas for the movement of goods.
Great. The next one I saw is Christina said, when you say to get your driver's license, when you get your driver's license, is it just paperwork with your current license, or do you actually need to do a driving test? So those are the two options for the two ways to do it. You can just get your foreign driver's license authenticated, and then you don't have to do a driving test. Some people will do the driving test and multiple choice test, but it's much easier to get your license authenticated and at your embassy or consulate.
Yeah, if you already moved to, let's say, Cherokee and you're a U.S. citizen, you might not want to take a trip to Panama City to go through the authentication process. They're not. It's just that you're going to have to fly there. You're going to have to stay overnight. You have to pay your embassy $120 or some ridiculous fee. So those people will sometimes just do it the old school way. Mhm.
Mike asks, can you bring firearms to Panama?
Yes and no. It's typically to bring you. You can import 3 to 5 handgun, long guns, like handgun, shotguns. Once you are already through, like once you're a permanent resident, very expensive, very time consuming. Up to 2 years, possibly a little longer. It's almost faster to sell you stuff. And if you do want a handgun or something like that, there's no automatics, no semi-automatics, nothing like that. Is to within a year you can, once you have your visa, you can apply for a permit and do the testing and the doctor's visits and buy the gun and get a license in about 9 months or so.
From Alex, can I sell my renovated home as a pensionado visa holder?
I'm not
You
sure
mean
what this
like
means.
it almost sounds like you're trying to like flip homes as a earning a living here in Panama. Is that what you
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
Like even though your pensionado visa, does that count as work or earnings? Um, I would say no, not
Yeah. If,
really. It's
if
kind of
that's the
crazy.
case, Alex, no. Typically not, but you are going to pay your when you sell it, you're going to pay a 5% tax. You're going to pay a transfer tax and another tax. Now you're going to talk to your lawyer and your accountant to see if there is, as long as you're buying something, you don't have to worry about any capital gains or anything here. But if you aren't buying anything, or if you have if it's a second or a third home, you are going to have to seek the advice of a lawyer and an accountant because you could be responsible for capital gains, just like the U.S.
If that's not what you meant, please clarify and
Yeah.
we can answer your question better. Any other questions? Put them in the Q&A. I'm gonna check in the chat.
Bring up the. I'm going to bring up one here. I want to talk about this a minute. Silver seems to know what they're talking about here. Absolutely right. And Panama's inflation rate, if you look back on our website, I put the link in there twice. Just look at the blog. Last month, I wrote an article on the inflation showing the stats where I got everything from. Panama's inflation rate in the last 10 years was 16%, so 1.6% a year. And 2025, as Silver is saying here, was minus 0.2%. Expected this year about 1.2. And that's an overall, that's just not, food and stuff that we're talking about. That's an overall inflation rate. So and the good thing is, many of you North Americans that are on fixed pensions that are tied to your cost of living, you're actually doing better here because in the States, the inflation rate over the last 10 years was 4%. Sorry, was 40%, 39.8. I'm kind of going by memory. And in Canada, it was a bit higher. And so your pension check has gone up more than the inflation rate, double than what the inflation rate in Panama has gone up. So you don't feel like every year you have less and less money. You actually have more.
So Alex did a little follow-up here.
To build my extra until I can afford the home I ultimately want to keep. Yeah, like if you're buying and selling a home here, again, I'm going to tell you to consult. You're going to have a lawyer involved in selling and buying of a home, and you're going to have, if you're doing this in a corporation or a foundation, like many people do, especially with what you're doing, you might want to seek advice on doing that. So the equity that doesn't even show up as income because it's just shares. So talk to a lawyer if you're going to do that, and yeah, buy a fixer upper for 50, sell it for 100. Buy a fixer upper for 100, sell it for 150. Why not?
Yeah, just have a really good idea of the market
But yes, you
first.
can do that as a pensionado. Same thing as you can rent out a casita as a person as a pensionado. Whether or not you claim that as income is between you and your accountant, and so that's what I advise. If it's not over $11,000 a year, they're probably going to say don't even bother.
Question for the investors willing to purchase vacation. Is it mandatory to apply for the license to make a short rentals Airbnb or VRBO?
It's supposed to be like even here in Cherokee, you're supposed to have a license to run an Airbnb or a VRBO. What percentage of people do with one unit or two units? Not many, but if you have three or four units and you advertise online, you darn right you should. It's not expensive here. It's a few $100s, so you should be licensed.
Mike and Barb want to get a dog once we get there. Do most people get from rescues? Yes,
Yes, definitely.
definitely.
My dogs, my three dogs. I've been here, like I can tell I've been here so long, I've gone through two dogs already. I had them for well over 10 years, but
Yeah.
I rescued them so they weren't puppies when I got them.
Yeah, always lots of dogs looking for homes. Greg and Donna, how hard is it to get rentals if looking at staying 3 to 4 months at a time without doing Airbnb? Tough-ish,
Depending on the area,
because
basically. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, because most rental agents aren't going to want to work with you for anything under 6 months. Because remember, they're making a commission typically on a 12-month lease, they're going to make 1 month's worth of rent as a commission. On a 6 month lease, they would make half of the month's rent worth of commission. So for them to spend, days showing people around and finding the perfect rental for a 3 to 4 month lease, just isn't worth it for most of them. However, you can find stuff in Facebook groups or like in Quencher 24, but it's one of those things where you really want to be boots on the ground or have somebody who already knows that's a really good spot. It's whether it's a friend of a friend, um, just sight unseen is definitely
Yeah.
not a good idea. That's why Airbnb and VRBO are safe.
Yeah, there are management companies along the beaches and in Panama City that do monthly rentals, especially for the high season. If you're looking for a high season, you want to lock that down in August. Don't go. We see these people in December searching in Coronado, Gorgona. I'm looking for a 3 month rental starting January. Well, maybe next year. But up in Boquete, we don't really have that type of a market, so it's a little harder to find.
Yeah, and some of the like bigger condo buildings will have property management services.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, it depends where you're looking at. And also on Airbnb or VRBO, you can message the host and ask if they can offer monthly rates.
Yeah. Do be careful that if they try to take you off site, I don't advise that unless you somehow know them or they're referral. Some will try to take you off site and get you to pay them through a Western Union and they just block off. That's totally 100% against Airbnb rules, but people do it all the time.
Okay. From Brian, is doing a solar off-grid home in Cherokee Highlands a reasonable thing to do? Give the cost of electricity and frequency of power outages.
It's it's depending where, Brian. If you want to go Volcan, Serra Punta, there's not enough sunlight hours, honestly. Some people do it and you can reduce costs. But right in, I live in Dolega, which is halfway between David and Boquete, and I've considered it for sure. I don't have power outage problems here, but electricity is not cheap here, folks. It's cheap on the bottom end. It's like 16 cents a kilowatt. So that's not Texas cheap, but that's Canadian cheap. That's California cheap, like New York cheap. But that's only for the first 300 kilowatts. Then it goes to 22 cents a kilowatt, and then over 750 kilowatts a month. Like if you're on the beach or in the city using air conditioning every day, you're looking at 30 cents a kilowatt. So it can get expensive. So I know a guy right now on the beach, Buenaventura, building a big home. He's going 100% solar. Like he should be able to pull right off the grid if he wants to, and that's going to run air conditionings, everything. And he's done the math. He's an engineer. I'm a former engineer. He's a good friend of mine. We've sat down at the kitchen table, and yeah, this will work. You can do it. You can generate enough here. You get enough hours of sunlight. So that's where you got to look. In Boquete, there's several big retail stores that are solar powered. You wouldn't know by looking at them, but if you drive around the back of them, you see the whole roof is solar cells.
From Heather, to apply for pensionado with Canadian funds, how do they determine the exchange rate?
On the day of the application, the lawyer will go to the standard is Bank of Canada rate. So they go right to the Bank of Canada website, put in your money, and they screenshot that and they take that to the immigration officer. And it doesn't change from that day. So if 2 years from now the dollar tanks and let's say you were at $1,270 for a couple, just over fine. If a year or 2 years from now it's down to 1150, it doesn't matter. It's only at the time of application. You only have to pass that qualification once. Same thing happens if you're applying together with two pensions. Like many times, a husband and wife, there's not one pension over the 1250. So the husband and wife combine their pensions, and you're living here. Time goes on. 30 years later, I'm exaggerating that. One of you die. That doesn't mean you no longer qualify because you're not hitting the limit. You only have to pass it once.
This is a good question from Phyllis. During the length of time that you've lived in Panama, have there ever been periods of government instability that was of concern to you? Are you ever concerned about instability in neighboring or nearby countries?
Mhm. Great questions.
Hmm.
There's been people instability, but not government. And what I mean by people instability, nothing that we were fearful of, but the Panamanian people love to protest. And they get their way when they protest. Like I just hope, we go another 3, 4 years before there's another protest. But hey, tell us about the protests, Megan. They were so just crazy sometimes.
Yeah, they like to block the roads when they protest, so that can be really inconvenient, especially when it's a bunch of indigenous, because a lot of times got these governments, politicians running for office are promising things to the indigenous who are lacking a lot of decent infrastructure in the comarcas, which are the indigenous regions. And if they don't get it, they'll come out and block the main highway and protest for days or weeks on end, we've seen. And that is the main pass through the country. So at one point, it did go on for a few weeks where we weren't getting fuel to the Cherokee side of the country, where closer to the Costa Rica border side, and then all of the produce on this side of the country wasn't getting to the capital and the interior of the country. So it can cause issues, and people who haven't been here, give me 1 second. People who haven't been here long did get a little bit scared or even left the country during that time because it felt unstable to them. But I think since we've been here for so long and we've seen this a few different times, we knew it wasn't really going to affect our security or safety personally. It was more of just an inconvenience. Um, and as far as neighboring countries, no, we don't really feel that here. I
We
don't
have
see
Costa
it
Rica to
affecting
the
us.
west. Costa Rica, calm country, no military, no army, same thing, like same thing as Panama. We have Colombia to the east, but there is actually no road to Colombia. You can't actually, so we're actually not connected to anything except by air or by boat. Even when the incidents happened with Venezuela, a lot of people were saying, "Oh my God, that must Venezuela is almost that was almost as far as Miami from us." So no, it didn't affect us one bit. So, but it's a good question. Yeah,
Yeah, we were getting a lot of questions. I feel like we used to get a lot of questions about Venezuela
yeah.
and if that's, of concern. And
I don't know.
it's
Never been
not
there. It's far
a
away.
neighboring country. There's a lot of Venezuelans in Panama. It,
Mhm.
it definitely affected us that way. Um, there's been many waves of Venezuelans immigrating here, and a lot of them are hardworking, starting businesses like most immigrants do.
The
So,
one thing
but
Panama has that the rest of Latin America doesn't is Panama has a 125-year relationship with North Americans. No other Latin American country has that. So when the U.S. took, well, 120 years. When the U.S. took over the canal, started building it, and then throughout all those years, up to 1999, there were 60,000 U.S. citizens, U.S. men and women, service men and women, living in Panama. And so the Panamanian people are used to U.S. and Canadian folks here, where other countries, it's just not like that. And they don't, but like the Panamanian people don't seem to blame your leaders. And, they like the people. Like we had the mining incident with the mine that was apparently owned by a Canadian company. Well, they weren't mad at Canadian folks here. They were mad at the company. And then we have, things in the U.S. with some people might not like things that the U.S. was threatening to take the canal and stuff like that, but they weren't blaming the U.S. citizens living here. They know it's not them because of that strong relationship Panama's had with North Americans throughout the years.
Yeah, actually, with the big mine protests, they were mostly angry with the Panamanian government for pushing this through without the correct environmental studies being done and without really any um, I input from the Panamanian people about it.
Mhm.
So we have a quick follow-up from Kirsten, so we'll take that quick. What about the Darien Gap and trafficking from Colombia? That has stopped significantly.
Yeah, 99% stopped.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's a major, major push initiative by this government that we have in now is basically closed the Darien Gap for refugees coming through. And the refugees weren't coming to Panama, folks. They were coming through Panama. They weren't coming to Panama to stay. So we were never in danger of them taking over the country. They were on their way to the U.S. They had no plan of stopping here because we don't have any programs for them. So, but yes, that is basically stopped from hundreds of thousands to almost nothing.
Alex, if I declare rental income from multiple units and pay Panamanian taxes on the earnings, does that work for a pensionado?
That won't get you a pensionado visa, no.
Like if you mean, can you do that if you are on pensionado? So you can open a business and you can, be the CEO of that business, but you can't run the entire business in a way that would take Panamanian jobs. So ideally, if you had rental units, you would have a cleaning lady, manager doing check-ins and that sort of stuff, because the pensionado visa does not allow you to get a work permit.
Yeah, I'm going to take what I think this question is directed to. Earning money does not qualify you for a pensionado visa. The only thing that qualifies you for a pensionado visa is a lifetime pension from somewhere outside of Panama. It has to be a pension for life. So you can't invest money here. If you want to do that, then you're looking at a friendly nations visa. If you want to buy a bunch of rental units and then you'd have the proper work permit.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, exactly.
we answered both sides of that question because I wasn't sure which one it was.
Yeah, that was good. Laura says, back to the dogs. Are strays a problem there? Is there a humane society that picks up dogs? Do they mandate licensing and immunizations?
Yes, yes, no, no. Okay. Strays are about a 10% of what they used to be 15 years ago. There are still strays, but in my neighborhood, they're not strays. They're my neighbor's dogs that don't have fences. But there are still some strays. There is no government style humane society, but we have many. We have Amigos de Animales at this end of the country. We have Dog Camp at this end of the country. And Cornell has their own. The city has some. They do not mandate any licensing or annual immunizations whatsoever. Mhm. So we do have the humane Animales, Amigos de Animales. There's a spay and neuter clinic every month. I forget the numbers, but it's in the thousands every year of the dogs in Cherokee. And they do them in David, here, Volcan once in a while, uh, in the thousands. Coronado has a clinic monthly, and Petitcy, I heard, is starting it too, that volunteer vets do all the sterilizations and stuff like that. So that's why the stray problem has become less and less.
Okay. Ryan, I was looking for Potrerillos Arriba or Palmyra areas for property. Those are great
Mhm.
areas. As far as Boquete district goes for Palmyra, Doleg, I don't know. I don't know. I guess Potrerillos is, I don't know if that's still Boquete, but those are definitely more affordable areas in close to Boquete. They're both, I mean, anywhere from, you could be like 30 minutes from Boquete, 30, 45 minutes from David.
Yeah. I live on Puerto Regis Highway. So Puerto Regis Abajo is 8 minutes from me. And then you go a little farther to Arriba. Palmyra, well, I can also get to Palmyra going that way too. So, yeah,
Yeah, there's a road that connects them.
How the colors?
My wife is Panamanian. Can I stay in Panama without getting a pensionado visa?
No, but you can get a married to a Panamanian visa much easier, and you can get a permanent residency here. Easier,
You can
cheaper, and
bribe
faster.
her with some. You can go
And you'll get
have
the
a chocolate
Panamanian
while you wait.
discount if you are
Mama,
Yeah.
60 years old.
I want to show you how the colors turn
I think
into.
Noah's answering a question.
Okay, give me 1 minute.
Okay.
Trying to bribe him with chocolate for 5 more minutes.
Hi, Laura. Is rabies a problem? Panama has been rabies free for 21 years. I think that was the last case. Rabies, Panama is not on the CDC's watch list whatsoever. So, yeah, we don't need tilter tests here, nothing. To bring dogs into here, so Panama is very strict. I do pet relocation. That's why I'm doing a pet relocation Q&A later on this month. And they are very strict on rabies. If your dog arrives here and doesn't have rabies, they're sending it back. You're getting back on the plane with your dog. And that's how strict they are with rabies. Mhm. So, no, there's no actual rabies product. Mhm. Well, we
Yeah,
should
so
know,
we
Alex. Oh,
Mhm.
go ahead, Megan. I was going to talk
Do you
about the
have
Panama
spec
Access Pass.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't really have group tours for specific areas besides the Cherokee Highlands tour for people that want to be in Cherokee in a cooler climate. But the Panama Total Access Pass is a great option. So Rod's gonna pull it up. And that's for people who, a lot of people who kind of already have an idea or they're not a group tour situation. Maybe their family or they already know where they want to live. And that will give you access to our members area on our website, which is just you log into our website and right there you'll see icons for all different sorts of information and resources. You'll have our entire book. It's a digital guide that will help talk you through all the different areas of Panama, lots of different information on the country, as well as how to prepare for your move, create your own move to Panama checklist, and also book one-on-one video calls with us that are included. So we can help you plan your visit or your move as much as you need. And you'll have our emails, our phone numbers to help you. And I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh, yeah,
Yeah, well,
contacts for
yeah,
local
these are
guides.
all the contacts that you'd ever need to move to Panama. Names, phone numbers, like the drivers and tour guides. We have tour guides. This is what you're talking about in every area of Panama. And that's as far as you get. Okay, I'm showing you inside the members area, so that's as far as you get. Yeah.
Yes, and so you can even put together your own trip and use some of our local guides. They're wonderful, bilingual, really knowledgeable in their different areas too.
We tell you what are the best hotels to stay at, and some Airbnbs that we know of that are good and trustworthy all over the country. How to properly rent a car, how to get the best deals from the private car rental guys all across the country. There's some in Panama City, there's some in Coronado, there's some in Boquete and Volcan. So the guide has everything, but not only like there's so many different things in the guide that um, we couldn't cover it all, or it would be kind of silly to put one specific thing in because one person in 100 asked it. You have direct access to myself, Megan, and Oscar, and it starts at $497 for the gold package, and that's a lifetime access of your members area and all the contacts and the book, which is updated every week. There we
Yeah, we
go.
had I think we skipped this question from Phyllis, but that's kind of relevant too. She's saying, how does a newly retired person in Panama find services, handyman, painter, cleaner, cleaning services, driver, etc. So in the Access Pass, we have facilitators throughout the country, and even people that come on tour with us will tell them when you land, when you come back to spend time in the places that you know you're really thinking of moving to, do a day with them, do a neighborhoods tour. They're going to point out all the local hangouts, when is market day, what are the volunteer opportunities, who to go to for this or that, and they're great resources. And then once you're here, expats are super friendly, locals are super friendly too, so you just start talking to people and getting recommendations.
Yeah.
Um, I would even say some of the expat Facebook groups are great for some of those little things like who's the go-to plumber or stuff like that.
Yeah, the worst part about it is the self promotion. Stay away from self promotion. If you get people PMing you, which happens all the time, ignore them. If you're looking for a plumber, it has to be a referral. That's why as part of the Access Pass, we get those all the time. Just this week, I had someone that wanted to build a catio for their. That's actually a thing now. It's a
The
balcony thing.
cat patio.
Yeah, cat patio. And I had that. I had someone that wanted to install a ceiling fan, so I sent somebody there. Just like we've had Megan, Oscar, and I. We're up to 35 years experience here in this country. We know all these people that do this stuff, and that's what the Access Pass gives you. Is that click on a button, fill in a form. We'll get back to you same day with an answer.
Alex
Oh,
asks, is the
yeah,
guide, oh, you saw that too. Yeah,
very
is it a
important.
guide or a
Yeah,
print?
it
Both.
is electronic. Alex, let me show you. People want to see this. Let's go
So if you
screen.
purchase, you'll get instant access. And then if you want the book, it's a beautiful physical book. You can
Sorry,
you can get the book too.
I blew that. I wanted to just close out because we're almost done here. So in your members area, you would click on the book, okay, and then you would select. My computer runs slow when we're doing these, folks. One of the 64 chapters. Let's say you wanted to talk about. Let's find something exciting. It doesn't matter. The Panama healthcare system. You would open that up, and then it opens up just like a book opens up, and you can expand it so you can actually see it and you can read it. Or your other option is for $60, we will produce a personalized printed 500, 480 page colored book, hardcover, and ship it to you. And if you purchase the platinum, it comes with the printed one.
Kirsten says the book is superb. Thanks,
Yeah.
Kirsten. Yeah, we're very proud of the book.
Okay.
Oh, she
Now
also said, what
remember,
about,
go ahead.
are we going too late? There was one last question. What
Mhm.
about ticks and mosquitoes? Definitely mosquitoes. We have bug seasons in Panama, so the rains are starting. That's typically when we start to see a lot more bugs. Ticks, I'm from Pennsylvania, from a rural area, and we had a lot of ticks in the summer. Here, I rarely see ticks. I've maybe seen like 3 in all of my years here,
I haven't
usually
had
because the
one tick on a dog
animals.
since I've lived here. And I used to get 3 times a year have to pick ticks off my dogs in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
But ticks
Yeah,
aren't.
I've
And
only had a few.
mosquitoes. Who asked the question? Oh, Kirsten, mosquitoes in Ontario are way worse around the lakes than they are here. Yeah.
Yeah, we have
And much
seasons for them.
larger.
You just wear some bug spray, get a bug zapper. We have a bug zapper at our house.
It was funny. I know Latin Americans, and I'm not teasing my business partner, Oscar, but I always tell him this. Because of the past, dengue, and what are all the diseases mosquitoes carry? They wiped out communities in Latin America. They're really scared of them. Oscar, if he sees a mosquito, he like basically has to kill it. And I look, that was a flea. That wasn't a mosquito. That tiny little thing. Mosquitoes in where I come from are like this. Like they carry an ounce of blood after they bite you. And
They
I
are
think
really
Kristen
small
can
here.
relate to that too. Yeah. So once again, our Q&A list, all for May, guys. We have different Q&As every month. I thought there was 5 Thursdays in May. There's only, but that's because today's the 30th, not the first. Yeah. So healthcare, best places to live, pet relocation, buying a car, and those are things we're going to get talk about next month.
Yep. And yes, Melissa, if you come on tour, you get the book, you get the members area.
Yes. You actually get access to everything 30 days before your tour. All right. What do you say,
Great
Megan?
questions, everyone.
I forgot to change our background again. Oh, well. All right, guys. We'll see
Righty.
you at healthcare. Very important one next week. Like I say, with our 3 guests to talk about best hospital in Latin America, and we're going to talk to Dr. Shannon, very popular doctor out here in Cherokee Province, educated in North America, and wonderful person. And we're going to meet Alejandra, who's going to talk to us about insurance options for all you expats when you live here. All right.
All right. Buenas noches. See you
All
next
right, guys.
Thursday.
See you later.